Good morning. Good morning. We don't say good morning. We say, because good morning, but we say grand rising. Grand rising to everyone. And if where you are viewing from is in the night, I guess we say good night, good evening, good afternoon. But we're just hoping that you have a good day. My name is Meka Albania Sharal, and welcome to Truth Matters Broadcasting, where we discern the truth about religion, the kingdom of the Most High God, and the church. Today, I want to start out by asking you a very simple question. And the question is, where is your faith? Where is your faith? But before I do this, ladies and gentlemen, there's a song that I want to play here from Benjamin William Haston. Benjamin William Haston. I do not own the rights to the song. I do not own the rights to the song. So I want to give all the credit to Benjamin Williams Haston and his producer, etc., etc. But the words of the song are so powerful, and I just wanted you to hear it this morning. Once again, I do not own the rights to this song, but I want to make sure you hear the words of the song. I want to start today with the word of the song. Remember, I'm asking the question, where's your faith? This is very important, ladies and gentlemen, because faith is not only in the supernatural, faith is also in the physical, right? It was defined this way: the substance of things hoped for. Faith is a substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So if that is the way it's defined, and if that is true, that means what is not seen must make its way into the physical. And a lot of you've been lied to a lot when people say, just imagine it and thinking it, and it will be yours. But there's more than just imagining and thinking something. So we're going to talk about this today, but I want you to hear this song from Benjamin William Haston, Faith Is. Now, once again, I do not own the rights to the song, nor I do not own the rights to the song, so I'm giving all the credit where the credit is due. Benjamin Williams Haston. Here we go. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. The song is amazing. Listen up. It's me. Yes, yes, that song is powerful. It's by Benjamin William Haston. Fate is it's a beautiful song. Just the question he's asking about fate, is it wasted on me? If fate is a gift, then give it to me. Right? Uh, the disciples always ask Yahushai for more faith. They say, increase our faith. Increase our faith. And that would be good for us. And he always said to them, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can tell this mountain to uproot itself and cast itself into the sea, and it will obey you. All right, so you must understand this, ladies and gentlemen. You don't need an increase of faith. It's not your quantity of faith that is most important here. It's your faith, your mustard seed faith. Look at that. Instagram, I think Instagram had cut my time here because I went live and for some reason it seems to stop. I don't think they're giving me enough time to do more live on here, but I don't know what's going on. So we'll see what happened. Anyway, I just hit the record button again. For those who are joining me on Instagram, I'm not sure what's going on. I used to be able to record about 2-3 hours on here, but now I noticed I was limited to an hour now, so I don't know what's going on. But hey, whatever you can get at the time you can get it, let's get it. All right. The title is "Where is your faith? Where is your faith?" For those who are joining me on TikTok, I thank you so much. Appreciate you guys a lot. Keep following, man, because there's so much important message that we have to share. Okay, so keep following, keep following. And for those who are joining me on YouTube and Facebook, so if you're joining me on YouTube and Facebook, you can also join me on TikTok at Ake Once More and on Instagram at Meka Al, at Meka Al, Maychaal. And for those on Instagram and TikTok, you can join me on Facebook and YouTube at Michael L. Sewell SR. You can Facebook and YouTube record my stuff. So if you want to see some of the topics that I've dealt with, you can go on there. I got a lot of stuff on Facebook because I'm always planting images and pictures and different articles on Facebook. So if you really want to see, it's on YouTube now. Every time I go live, I always get some interruptions. My internet always seems to bug out, seems to bug out all the time. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen, it only happens when I go live. It only happens when I go live. When I could watch YouTube for hours. I could be on my no problem. But when I go live, that's when it happens. So when you go on Facebook and TikTok, you might see me talking, and all of a sudden, and then you should be talking again. Just be patient. Just be patient, because I have no control over that, right? I have a very good internet here, a 5G, I have 2G, so I shouldn't be having this problem. But hey, it is what it is. When the word of him who is above all, speak. All right, let's get into it. Where's your faith? Where is your faith? Someone asked me, a friend of mine asked me, and I tried to get him on here live because I like to do live shows. And one of the reasons why I like to do live shows is not because I want to make somebody look stupid, or I'm trying to, say, hey, look at this, look at that, whatever, whatever. No, what I'm trying to do is to get you to air your views. I want you to air your views, because here's the thing. One guy accused me once. He said, "You always on the show where it's just you doing all the talking." And I said, "Man, listen, I open up my studio phone numbers and you don't call. I invite you over here to go live with me. You don't come live, but you're always hitting me up on my posts, and you're always sidebarring me. Why don't you just go live with me?" But many people are afraid to go live. I don't know why. Only one guy, maybe two guys so far, has gone live with me. I had the opportunity of having the Ravenous Bird here. That was beautiful. If you go back down, or even on my YouTube page, you will see the Ravenous Bird. For some of you who don't know who the Ravenous Bird is, man, you got to go check him out. The Ravenous Bird was prophesied to us by the one who is above all. The one who is above all. Now you might hear me, I usually say the Most High, and I like to say the Most High, because I'm like, there's no one higher than him. So when I say the Most High, I'm talking about the creator of the heaven and earth. But I followed the Ravenous Bird, and he was prophesied here by the one who is above, the one who is above all, and the Ravenous Bird brought something to my attention. And I was like, he really brought it to the whole class. And I did not know. I have this Bible for years, ladies and gentlemen. And what I did not know in the beginning of the Bible, for those, let me start over here with Facebook and TikTok. Look up right there up on the top. If you can focus, you will see what it says there. The Most High. Oh, right up on the top, right by King James. The Most High. The Most High. So when you read up on the top right here, it says, to the Most High and mighty Prince, King James. That's how the book began. This is my King James version of the Bible. I have this Bible so long, ladies and gentlemen. I have this Bible long time, and I've never really looked at it, because when you hear the Most High, you're thinking only of the Most High, but the King James himself had that title. He's called the Most High. I know that they call the people of kings and prince your highness, right? It means that you're high above the rest, your highness, right? And there's no one higher than the Father. That's why when we say the Most High, we're going the highest, the tippity top. But one of the things that I've learned from the Ravenous Bird, and one of the things I've learned myself too, is that I don't like to use words that is attribute to any other person, places, or thing when it comes to the one who is above. And that's why his name is so important. Yahweh is so important, because you know what, ladies and gentlemen? He has a name, and we don't realize it because we were bamboozled. So in Isaiah 46 and at verse 11, it was prophesied by the one who is above all that he would send a ravenous bird. He would send a ravenous bird. We didn't know this because after so-called Jesus, we're not looking for nobody else. We think finally Jesus is the last prophet, so we're not looking for no one else. But we would be bamboozled there too, because we're not paying attention to what was read. So what was prophesied. So you got to look at the prophets. You got to look at the prophets. And where is it? I think it's Amos chapter 3, verse 7. Before I show you Isaiah 46:11, if you go to Amos 3, verse 7, Amos 3, verse 7 says, surely Yahweh will do nothing but reveal his secrets unto his servants, the prophets. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to hear me now. I'm asking you, where is your faith? This is much important. Surely the one who is above all will do nothing. What he will do? Nothing. What he will do? Nothing but but changes things. That means he's going to do nothing but what comes after. But is a conjunction of change. That means what started before does not follow what comes after. You understand? But is a conjunction of change. So when that person say I love you, but they're not really telling you they love you. It's what comes after that has the impact. Surely Yahweh Adonai will do nothing but he revealeth his secret unto his servants, the prophet. Chronicles 20:20 tells us that if we believe in the highest power, the higher power, if we believe in the Father, Yahweh, we will be established. Believe his prophets, and so will we prosper. I'm making sure that I'm not using that in reverse, right? But all to do with his prophet. So when you look at Isaiah, Yeshayahu, Isaiah 46 and a verse 11, it says, calling a ravenous bird from the east, a man that execute my counsel from a far country. Yes, this is the Most High speaking enough. Yes, I have spoken it. Come on now. I have spoken it. I will also bring it to pass. I have purposed it. I will also do it. So let me mention this again. What he says, calling a ravenous bird, ladies and gentlemen, a ravenous bird, calling a ravenous bird from the east, a man. Make no mistake. He's not calling a country. He's not calling a nation. He's not calling a church. He's not calling a religion. He's not calling a state. He's calling a man, a single person from the east. From the east. The man who he was. He says, I have spoken it. Now I read Psalms 89, verse 34, and he says, the Most High will not break his covenant, nor alter anything that gone out of his mouth. There's another scripture that says, his word will not return to him void, but it will accomplish that which he has set it out to do. Therefore, he says, I have spoken it. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you with the most pride and the most love that the ravenous bird is here. He was chosen from among us and he was sent to us. Watch this now. Let's back up a little bit there in Isaiah 46:8. I like to go back to 8 because 8 is calling us to something. 8 starts with verse 8 start with the word remember. And I can't hesitate to tell you this, that to remember something is to bring that something back to the present. Come on now. We're dealing with intelligent people here, right? To remember something is to bring it back into the present. To remember something that you were told, meaning you shouldn't forget it. So whether you didn't know it or you're just hearing it, when you hear this word remember, it's to always bring back to the present. Watch this. Remember this and show yourselves, men. Bring it again to mind. See, bring it again. Bring it back to mind. You transgressors. A transgressor are sirs. Transgressors are one who breaks the commandments of the Most High God. See, with the Most High God, we got some word, man. You know what's called? It's called cognitive dissonance. That's what it's called. Cognitive dissonance. It's happening in my mind. Why? Because we were so brainwashed into believing, into seeing, into doing what we were told by the very people who. That's why when you call the name Jesus, the image that's in your minds, ladies and gentlemen, is that blonde hair, blue eye guy. The very name itself. When you call the name, you're looking at a white person. And you and I know that so-called Jesus is not white. We know this. Oh, my internet's messing up for YouTube and Facebook. Look at that. it props me up to let me know when this is happening. But let me just get into some things here, man. I'm gonna get into some things because I'm asking you today, where is your faith? Where is your faith? Remember this, and show yourselves, men. Bring it again to mind, O you transgressors. Remember the former things of old, for I am Yahweh, and there is none else. I am Yahweh, and there is none like me. Who? I am Yahweh. I am the eternal. I am the Father, the source of all life. I am a single God, single Elohim, and there is none like me. None like me mean that there's none like me. We were given this ideology that the Father is three in one person. We were given this ideology that the Father is one in three personality. So whether you believe that he is three in one or one in three, then guess what? You are a Trinitarian. And somehow someone has given you this cognitive dissonance to let you think that you're dealing with one person in three distinct personalities. That's brainwashed to the highest heights. When you look at what he say about himself. Now, I spoke to a guy, I had a guy on my show once, and he said to me, Maker, everything you're saying is true, he said, but I cannot ignore the other scriptures. And what he is literally saying, he says, everything you're saying, Old Testament, is true, but I can't ignore the New Testament. That's what he's literally saying. He's literally saying, I cannot ignore the New Testament. And so we're gonna dive deep down into that, because you have to understand, when Old Testament was preaching, there was no New Testament. When the so-called Jesus was preaching, there was no New Testament. So-called Jesus is not a New Testament Christian. And that's hard for some of you to understand. Jesus is not a Christian. And I'm saying this, I'm just trying to use your logic to give you your understanding, because you're just not at the place where of understanding yet. If you call yourself a Christian, you're missing some things. And to transgress or to sin is to miss the mark. And that's why cognitive dissonance is plaguing us all. No wonder the Messiah says, deception, if it was possible, would deceive even the very elect. Going back here, we're going to hit that up in a minute. Going back now, let's go back now. Remember the former things of old. So this higher power is calling us to go back. Repentance is to go back. And most people don't understand this. The message is not your religion. It's not some church. It's not some government on this earth. The message is the kingdom of heaven is here. And if you're not thinking about these things, you can quickly lose the essence of the message. The kingdom of heaven is here. What is a kingdom, ladies and gentlemen? A kingdom is a country. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom, thy country come, on thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. I say this many, many times. Your church and your pastors and your ministers are preparing you to go to heaven. And that's the problem, because you see, the one will be taken and the other will be left. But you're not looking at the message of the kingdom. So was it in the time of Noah, so shall it be in his day. The one will be taken, two will be grinding at the mill, the one will be taken out of the left, two will be this, the one will be taken out of the left. And you think you're going to be the one who's taken because you're being prepared to go to heaven. But if it's going to happen like it happened in the time of Noah, was Noah left? Was Noah taken, or was Noah left? Who was taken? Who did the flood waters come and take? All unbelievers. The unbelievers was the taken. What did he say? What the Son of Man said? When I come back and I come in my glory, he will gather all the nations. And he first, what are you going to do? First tie up the weed. in bundles to be burned. You're not listening to the message. Cognitive dissonance. It took me a long time to say the word cognitive. I could I'm not your most bright. I'm not the sharpest tool in the in the um in the shed. I'm not the sharpest tool there, okay? But I have enough. Now you might be wondering, what the heck is he wearing? I know some of you must be looking at my little hat here. My daughter got me this. And I never really wear it that much. I wore it once or twice when it's really, really cold. I never really wore it. And this morning I decided, I'm gonna wear my thing, man. My daughter got me this. My beautiful baby Amanda got me this. I'm like, you know what? So I decided to wear it. I put on my shirt, my number 7 Channels of Blessing shirt here, and I say, you know what? Kind of match this thing here, and my glasses turn purple in the light. So if you can look at the sides, you might see my glasses. So I'm all that today, right? So you got to look. You got to not be religious. You just got to look at what is said, because you're going to be judged by what is said. It's his word that's going to be your judge in the last days. It's the word. I never knew you because you don't obey my commands. He that obey my commands is he that love me. To love the Most High God is to keep his commandments, written everywhere, all over the Bible. If you love me, obey me. That's what it means. A matter of fact, if you do understand that true worship is obedience, you see, where have you heard that before? I've been going to church my whole life, and I've never heard a pastor said true love is obedience. I've never heard that. That was revealed to me by the Nuach, by Yahweh himself. Love is obedience. This is what Yahushua, the one you mistakenly call Jesus, this is what he preached. Now, my friend said to me, he says, Michael, well, he knows me as Michael. Michael, you say you're not a Christian. You say you're not a Christian, and you're preaching a Christian. You say you're not a Christian, but why are you using the Bible? Why you keep? I'm not a Christian. I'm a believer. As a matter of fact, I surpass belief. I know the God, the Allah Aim, the higher power, the one who is above all. I know him. It's impossible to know God. It's impossible to know him. They say, show me him. That's the first thing somebody was going to say. Show me him. Listen, man, I don't have to physically lay eyes on him to know him. Let me ask you a question. Joe Biden is our president, yes? Do you know the guy? Do you know do you know of him? Do you see him? Can you point him out in the crowd? Yes, you can. But when you're dealing with the physical and your faith is on the physical, you say, okay, this is it, or this is what he looked like, or here you don't understand. He's outside time, space, and matter. He's outside past, present, and future. He created all these things. He's more than what the mind can conceive. But here's one thing I learned, and here's one thing I know for sure. The higher power will reveal in himself to the individual in the form best suited. Now, when I say that, I'm not saying he's coming as a tree, because that's not how he operates. I don't see nothing like that in the scriptures. However, he did spoke through a tree that's on fire on a mountain. So he came in the form best suited for Masha, aka Moses. We see the angel, the angel who have the authority, came in the form of a man with a sword drawn. When it comes to what's his name? We know him as Joshua today, but his actual name is His actual name is Hoshai. It's not Joshua, it's actually Hoshai. Moses, Masha, later on changed his name to Yahoshai, because Hoshai means salvation. That's what Hoshai means, or to save. So Masha, Moses changed his name to Yahoshua. You find that in Numbers. Go read this. Go read it. I won't tell you where in Numbers. Just go look. Right. So the word Yahoshua or Yahoshai means to save. Yahweh is salvation. That's what it means. The name points to the one who is salvation. Okay. So the very name points. Come on now. Powerful. Powerful. All right. So, in looking at what Yahweh is saying here, remember the former things of old. For I am Yahweh and there's none else. I am Yahweh and there's none like me. So, if he's 3 in 1, 1 in 3, this statement would be incorrect because there will be 2 more like him. That makes him up. All right. And if the 3 distinct person make one God, then part of him can die. Think about that. Anyway. Verse 10, he says, declaring the end from the beginning and from ancient times the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand and I will do all my pleasure. So what is his counsel? His laws, his decrees, his precept, everything shall stand. And he's calling a ravenous bird to teach it to us, to give us that preparedness to receive that which he has promised of the children of Yahushua, aka so-called Israel. Cognitive dissonant, ladies and gentlemen. If you're joining me, my name is Mika Alban Yahushua, and welcome to Truth Matters Broadcasting. TMB for short. Truth Matters Broadcasting is where we discern for ourselves. Where we discern what? For ourselves, the difference. There is a difference between religion, the kingdom of the only true God, and the church. So we're going to look at some things that's going to put your mind in it's going to cook your grits, as we say, boil your Cersei if you're from the islands. All right. First and foremost, if you look at the Bible itself, the word religion was mentioned twice, 2 times. And no prophet has ever uttered the word religion. None. Matter of fact, no prophet has ever uttered the word church. Right? No prophet has ever uttered the word religion, and no prophet has ever uttered the word church. Here's another word that no prophet nor the God of heaven, the Allah aim, the power that's above all power, the one who's above all, has never uttered the word Christian. It has never left their mouths. No prophet has ever said Christian or religion, because the Most High, the only true, the most high, above the most, above this garbage who is calling himself the Most High, the one who is above, the Father, the source. No one is above him. That's why when he swears by himself, there's no one above him. And we have to look at the message that he lays down for us. And we have to look at the principles. Principles are laws, enacted laws. We have to look at the principles he laid down for us. We have to look at what he said. Because, ladies and gentlemen, whether you know it or not, true worship is to do what he says. Truth is to do what he said. That's it. Now, some of you see me with the guitar here. Yeah, I do play guitar. I do write songs. So I didn't just put it up here, just in case you were wondering. You got to do what he says, ladies and gentlemen. You got to do what he says. And that is true worship. That is how you worship the Most High. You were told Nobody says. No one can obey. And so the system at B gave you what I call a get out of sin free card, where they call the grace card. Get out of sin free. Right? And so when people have this grace card, this is a grace card, they hold up the grace card every time they sin. I have grace. They hold up the grace card every time they sin. And they don't know that grace is given so that you will not sin. This is what people don't know. This is what people don't realize. Grace is given to prevent you from sinning. That's why grace is given after repentance, not before repentance. Those who don't repent will suffer the wrath of the Most High God, the only true God, the only true Elohim. Wrath is upon people, and he's coming back, and he will repay. Vengeance is mine. So Truth Matters Broadcasting is a ministry, my personal ministry of getting the message to as many as I can. Now, here's the difference between then and now. Here's the difference. The difference between then and now, I was trying to reach everybody. I was trying to preach to everybody, but I'm not. I'm not anymore. And that's why when my friend asked me, are you a Christian? No, I'm not. So how comes you're preaching the Bible, he says. He said, how come you're preaching the Bible? If you're not a Christian, why are you preaching the Bible? I don't need to be a Christian to preach the Bible. Because the Bible, ladies and gentlemen, whether you understand it or not, it's not a Christian book. And I think this is where many people have lost their minds. They think the Bible is a Christian book. Here's the thing. They think the Bible is a religious book. That's what people think. They think it's religious. It's a religious book, so therefore they treat it as a religion. The Bible is not a religious book. I told you before, the word religion was mentioned twice in the Bible, and never by the Most High, never by the one who is above all, never by any prophet, nor the Messiah himself. Never mentions the word religion. The word Christian was mentioned 3 times in the Bible. Only in the New Testament. The Most High God has never, see, cognitive dissonance, man. The one who is above all has never mentioned the word. Here's another thing that was never mentioned by any prophets, by the one who is above, nor the Messiah. You ready for this? A weekly holy convocation on the first day of the week, which humanity calls Sunday. Never mentioned by the one who's above, never mentioned by any of the prophets, never mentioned by the one who they claim we keep Sunday in remembrance of. Isn't that why you go to church on Sundays? Isn't that why some of you getting up ready now to getting ready to go to church? Because you're doing it in remembrance of the resurrection of Jesus. Yet you can't show me no place in the Bible here. Remember, I told you the word. Remember, I told you the word. Remember, I told you the word. Remember means to bring back to the present. Remember, I told you the word remember is to bring back to the present. When in Exodus 20, starting verse 8, the one who is above, our Yahweh, our Elohim says, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. I've heard many pastors say that as long as you rest 1 in 7 days, you're good. I heard many pastors say that. And then I asked them, I said, you got to take a look at the commandments again. Look at the command, ladies and gentlemen. If I choose 1 day in 7 to rest, whose commandments am I following? If I choose 1 day in 7 to rest, whose command am I following? And when they see this, they can't fight it, because they're going to have to go back. And first and foremost, when you bring the truth to a person who has been operating in error, especially if you're in leadership, the first thing you have to do when you see that truth, you have to accept or reject. That's what you got to do. You got to accept it or you got to reject it. Now, if you accept it, then you first have to keep it. Because to accept or to hold is to keep, is to do. So you're going to have to do it yourself. Now, if you're going to have to do it yourself, then, and you're a minister of the gospel, then you have to tell it to your congregation. What's that going to do to your congregation? You're going to split your congregation down the middle. Because some people are not going to believe and they're going to leave. So what you have to now do, you have to justify. You have to justify doing what you're doing every Sunday as a minister. I know ministers that keep the Sabbath. They keep the Sabbath. And they will tell you that the Sabbath is their rest day. They will tell you that. Sunday is their work day. Because they're pastors, they're getting paid to preach. I've met pastors that tell me point blank, I keep the Sabbath day. I said, but what about your congregation? Aren't you supposed to be a minister of the gospel? Somebody calling me from Jamaica. I can't answer now. Aren't you a minister of the gospel? Watch this. Exodus 20 and verse 1. Let's start in verse 1 first. And Yahweh, who is speaking? And Yahweh spake all these words. So who is talking? The Most High. Now, not only that he spake these words, you were told that the Most High, the one who is above, spoke 613 commandments, or some say 606 commandments, or 616 commandments. All those numbers are incorrect, ladies and gentlemen, via a ravenous bird. The Most High, and you see, I'm so accustomed to saying this that it's hard for me. Now, let me tell you something. The actual root word translate the Most High. So there's nothing wrong with me saying Most High. There's nothing wrong with you saying the Most High. But when the King James himself is going to take upon himself that title, the Most High, I want you to know exactly who I'm speaking to. When I'm talking about the Creator, there's only one Creator, and that's the one I'm talking about. The one who says, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. That's the one. The one who said the Sabbath is a sign between me and the children of Yahushua, aka Israel, forever. That is the God. That is the one I'm talking about. But if I say God, you would have no idea who I'm talking about, because there are many imposter gods out there today. God is a title. It doesn't point to a single person. The word God points to, it could be Charlemagne. Y'all know who Charlemagne is? And the Breakfast Club. What does he call himself? Charlemagne the God. It could be Elephant Man. Anybody who knows who Elephant Man is? Elephant Man is that reggae superstar. He called himself the energy god. It could be Michael Jordan. Isn't people call him the God or the GOAT? Greatest of all time. You know what I mean? The title itself, God, could mean anything or anyone. But when we hear it, we're thinking of the supreme God. But the title is wrong. This is a misuse. This is vain. The word God here is vain. It can mean anyone. Could mean the God of the Egyptians. It could are the many gods of Egypt. It could mean the God of the Nicolaitans. It could mean the God of Baal, like the Philistines. It could mean any god. So when Marsha was writing this, he never used the name or the word God, the title God. He used his name and Yahweh, because Yahweh is the God of the Yahosharal, or what we call today Israel. The actual real pronunciation of that word is not Israel. It's Yahosharal, prince with the Alaim. That's what it means. It actually means prince with the Alaim actually mean son of the Alaim. It's the prince. A prince is usually the son of a king, right? So the very word Yahosharal means son of. It actually means son of God. You know, when we hear the word son of God or son of man, we attribute our point to the one who is the Messiah. But son of, if you look at what he says here, Israel, Yahosharal is my firstborn son. Yahosharal is not one person. Yahosharal is a nation made up of 12, actually 13 tribes from the one Jacob. His name was changed from Jacob to Yahosharal because he wrestled with the Most High and he overcame. And that's why his name was changed. And we become that people. I know, man. This is not for the faint of heart. Some of you will just you can't accept it. You will not be able to accept this. Some of you, this is just foolishness. You know why? Because he closed your eyes. You can't see this. You think you can just join this? You think you can just come to this? No, he has to draw you. He has to pull you through this. He has to draw you. If he doesn't draw you to this, you'll never, if he doesn't open up your eyes, you'll never see. If he doesn't open up your ears, you'll never hear. That's why it is for the elect. How do one get elect? Many are called, but few are chosen. So how do you get chosen? Your heart. It's your heart before him. He looks at your heart. What's your heart? Your mind. What's going on up in here? What are you thinking about? Do you really want to know the truth? Do you set your minds to know the truth? When you set your mind to know the truth, he will fill it. Open up your mouth, he said, and he will fill it. He will fill it for you. Because that's where he's going to put his laws. That's where he's going to put his laws is in your hearts and in your mind. What is the heart? Your heart is subconscious. Your mind is your cognitive thoughts. Make you think about them. And when you think about them, you'll do them. What do you say here? Verse 20, Exodus 21. And Yahweh spake all these words. I am Yahweh, which have brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. No other gods. This is very important. First command, written with his finger. Listen to me. He spoke 1,800 plus commandments. He only write 10. He only write 10. These are the top 10, man. Every other commandments come after these one. He wrote only 10. So while he's speaking them, the children of Yahosharal is hearing them, and he writing them at the same time on tablets of stone. Gave it to Marsha, said, "Go teach it to them." We must understand these things, ladies and gentlemen. We must understand these things. And if he's going to write his commandments in our hearts, you have to draw from the example here, which he said he's going to put in our mind and write in our hearts. And these 10 are the only one he wrote. So the common sense the 10 commandments in our minds. Oops, seems like your system have a connection issue. Of course, it's going to have a connection issue. What am I talking about? I'm talking about truth here. It must have a connection issue. If I was here winding up myself and gyrating, carrying on like a dumbass, guess what? The internet would love me. What he says here, remember, calling back to existence. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Now, if he had stopped right there, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy, you could choose 1 in 10. If he had just stopped right there, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy, you could pick 1 in 10 and you would be way okay. But he didn't stop there. He didn't command you to keep the Sabbath day holy like that. Just remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Because there's something wrong with just remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. The question that you have to ask, if you're going to be the one to keep the Sabbath, and he's commanding you to remember it, you're going to have to ask some question. Which day is the Sabbath day to keep holy? Because there are 7 days in a week. Is there not 7 days in a week? There's not 8 days in a week. There's not 6 days in a week. There's not 5 days, 4 days in a week. There is 7 days in a week. So which of the 7th day, which of the days in the 7th day that I am supposed to keep holy? Watch this. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. If he had stopped there, you could have chose one. Actually, you couldn't choose one. Because guess what he said? He said, 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. So if he said 6 days shalt thou labor, that means you have to work 6 days. You're supposed to work 6 days. He never says 1 in 6 days or 1 in 7 days you must rest. He never said that. He said 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But, remember I told you, but changes things. But the 7th day is the Sabbath of Yahweh your Elohim. In it thou shalt do no work. You nor your son, your daughter, manservant, maidservant, cattle, strangers, that's within thy gates. So he's telling you, but then he's giving you the reason behind it. Verse 11, 4. So here's why I don't want you to work on the 7th day. Here's why I don't want you to work on the 7th day. 4, in 6 days Yahweh made the heavens and the earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested on the 7th day. Wherefore he blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. The only day he named. And I think he does that because he didn't want you to not know which day is the Sabbath day. So he put a name to the 7th day. He did not name any other days. Not only that, he didn't want you to guess which day it is. The Bible says, go to Genesis. Let's go back to the creation. He wants you to do it because he did it. This is how he set up the setup. He is the one that set the setup. And I said this many, many times. He set the earth, the sun to rise in the east. And I don't care how powerful you are. I don't care how strong you are. You can't move that sun from there. You can't let the sun rise in the west. You can't let the sun rise in the north nor south. No matter how powerful you are, no matter how strong you are, you cannot make the sun rise in the north. You can't. Why? Because you have no power to do that. He is the one that set the setup. People say, well, day comes before night. I beg to differ. Night comes before day. People think day come before night. No, night was there. Darkness was there in the beginning. Light came after darkness. People are not looking at these things. If you notice when you read the Genesis 1, he says first day. That's Genesis. So I like was good. That was facing the word. That was Genesis 5. Genesis 1:5. First day. Then he says second day. Then he says third day. Then he says fourth day, fifth day, sixth day. That's when he said 6 days shall you labor and do all your work. but the seventh day. Watch what he do on the seventh day. Genesis chapter 2. Genesis chapter 2, verse 1 to 3. Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the hosts of them. And on the seventh day, Yahweh ended his work which he has made, and he rested. So why do we rest on the seventh day? Because Yahweh rested on the seventh day. Watch this. And on the seventh day, he rests from all his work which he had made. And Yahweh blessed the seventh day. So he blessed it. He institutionalized it for all eternity. That's what it means to bless. When he blessed, whatever he blessed forever. There's no unblessed. You ever see the Most High unbless someone? No, he blessed you. But he can also curse you too. Watch this. He blessed the seventh day. He sanctified. What did he do? He take the day and he set it aside. Just like I always use this example. Look at my 5. Well, do I have 5 fingers? You see that? You see that? I don't have 5 fingers here, baby. I don't have 10 fingers. Someone will tell you got 10 fingers. You see? And I tell you, it's just the way we think and the way we were taught to think. You thought you have 10 fingers. You don't. You don't have 10 fingers. You have 8 fingers and 2 thumbs. Think about it. You got 8 fingers and 2 thumbs. But we generalized the whole thing and we said we have 10 fingers. Okay, we were taught that in school. But I want you to notice what he did with the thumbs. You notice what he did with the thumbs? He put them, he sanctified. To sanctify means to separate it. He separated from the rest. So let me hold up one finger here. He put it way over here. And the reason why he did that, ladies and gentlemen, is because he has a purpose for the hand. The purpose for the hand is not only to point, punch, lift, slap, wipe, carry. The purpose of the hand is to grip. So if you had if your thumb wasn't over here, you would have a hard time holding on to something. So by putting the thumb way over here, now you can hold on to this cup. When he says, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy, he's expecting you to hold on to it. He's expecting you to grip it. He's expecting you to understand it. He's expecting you to carry it out. Do it because I have do it. He blessed it, but watch this. He don't only blessed it. What he did? He don't only blessed it. What else he did? He sanctified. He sanctified. He hallowed it. Because that he had rest from all his work which Yahweh created and made. Why? What is blessed? What is sanctified? The Sabbath day is his signature sign, mark, token that he is God who created all things. So if your church and your pastor and your religion, let me take this hat off, man. I'm getting all hot now. Woo, 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 woo. If your church, your pastor, your religion tell you that the Sabbath is done away with, here's what I want you to go tell them. Or here's what I want you to go ask them. Or here's what I want you to go suggest to them. If the Sabbath is done away with, then why do we still have 7 days in a week? I want you to meditate on that for just a minute. Meditate on that. Oh yeah, man, I can do some things. Did you meditate on that a little bit? Meditate on that a little bit. If the Sabbath is over, no longer applicable for Christians to keep, Then why there is 7 days in a week? Shouldn't be 7 days in a week. Should be 6 days. Because the Sabbath day is part of the weekly cycle. And if the Most High, if the only true, the higher power God, our Elohim, Yahweh, says no more Sabbath day, then he would be altering his creation. We don't keep the Sabbath day as just some separate law. The Sabbath was created at creation. And it's something the Most High, the only true, the one who's above all, has given us in memory of who he is. Watch this. Go to Exodus 13. Exodus 31. Go to Exodus 31. Watch this. I'm asking you, ladies and gentlemen, where's your faith? When are you going to stop letting people tell you what to do and think for yourself? When are you going to make decisions for yourself? You're going to stand before the one who's above all, and you're going to give an account. And you're going to say, well, I did all these things. And you're going to say, I never knew you. What are you going to do then? Let's look at this. Let's look at Exodus 31. Let's start in verse 12. I want you to understand, when he gave us the Shabbat, it's a memory. You heard me. It's a memorial. It's a covenant all by itself. It's a token. You know what you do with a token? I saw one the other day. My wife was watching and she took out a token. We used to use it in the subways in New York City when I used to live in there. I have one. It's somewhere there. A token gives you a right of passage. It gives you an access. Without the token, you can't get on the bus. Now they change everything to the card and the plastic. But it's still, a token is a right of passage. You have it. It's like a passport. You can, passport. Oh, I don't even want to get into that. All right. A mark. What is a mark? A mark is a sign. A mark is a sign put up on a product by its creator. Who is the creator of this one here? Scented Candles, Barbershop, DD. Not too sure what DD is, but DD is here we go. Handcrafted candle by DD. That's their mark. If you notice everybody with the diamond, I don't even want to get into that, but that is the mark of the owners or creators of this product. Everything has a mark, ladies and gentlemen. Everything has a mark. Adidas is the owner and creator, proprietor, owner, creator of this product. So the owner and creator of you, the world, the universe, put his mark, signature, sign, seal on their product. Okay? And so you have to understand now, at this point, juncture in history, the Most High, the only true, the one who is above all, is speaking to a peculiar people. If you look at that command again in Exodus 20, 8-11, he include the strangers that's within thy gates. The strangers. You, nor your son, your daughter, your manservants, your maidservants, nor thy stranger that's within thy gates. So we're going to look at stranger in a minute, because you need to understand something the world don't want you to understand. You see, we're at a point now in our juncture, in dispensation of this time, where we think that the Most High, the one true God, includes everyone. No, he does not, ladies and gentlemen. He's not an inclusive God. He's an exclusive. He's dealing with one set of people. And I'm going to show and prove that to you from scripture. So we're going to look at the word stranger in the Bible. I'm going to give you 2 or 3 weaknesses on that so you can draw your conclusion. Because remember now, Truth Matters Broadcasting is for you to discern for yourself. You don't have to believe me. All right. Up until this time here, he's speaking directly to the children of Yahushua. Watch what he says here. Exodus 31:12. And Yahweh spake unto Masha, saying, Speak also unto the children of Yahushua. You notice here he never says speak to the children of the Philistine. Speak to the children of Ethiopia. Speak to the children of Egypt. Speak to the children of the Babylonians. No, he's speaking to those who he has brought out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Now, you got to go back to the promise. That's why I said you have to look at the timeline. You got to look at the lineage. You have to look at the promise to understand what's going on here. You have to look at how it started. It started with one man. He created one man, then the other man, he created a woman, and he started the human race. And then sin happened. And everyone that was born into the world, everyone that was born into the world, born under disobedience. Disobedience is sin. Everyone that born into the world after. You see, Adam and Eve was not born into the world. They were created into the world. But every human being that came from their loins came with the mind of good and evil. All right, TikTok, not TikTok, Facebook, they're locking me down here. I got 23 seconds. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to say bye to you for right now. And as soon as that 23 seconds, 14 seconds is up, I'm going to go live again. It's not going to have a title, so rejoin me, okay? Because I don't want you to miss that. So I'll just keep doing that until, because the goal is to get you the message. 3, 2, 1. Whoop. Okay. Now this is insane. Okay. Good. All right, we're back. We're back again. So rejoin me. All right. For those who are joining me live on Instagram, I used to be able to go 2-3 hours on here, but for some reason they're only giving me an hour now. So whatever it is what it is. So catch the this will be part 2 for you. So go back and see part 1, and then if I go any longer, I'll do another hour, so on and so forth. All right, good. So every other people was born into, every other human being was born. They born under sin. So the righteousness that that Adam and Eve was created in, they forfeit that righteousness. And because they forfeit that righteousness, they became sin. And because they became sin, everything that they bear the fruit of sin. And the earth was corrupted because of that fruit of sin. And the only true God, the one who's above all, called a man, a single man. We must understand this now. He didn't call the whole world. He called one single man. And that man, Nark, or Noah, we call him Noah today, he gave him a commandment. And the commandment was, build an ark, because I'm going to destroy all mankind off the planet. He was repented that he made man because of all of the the aggravation and the sin that they commit. He tested the hearts of every man on the planet, and he realized that their hearts were evil all the time. And he just regret it. He regret making man. But he found favor in one, because that one man kept his laws, his counsels. And he gave the man a command. He said, you build an ark and you save your family. And the man did. Preached for 120 years. And finally, boom. So the earth was destroyed. Every human being on the planet was gone. Animal, everything. He wiped them off the face of the planet. Start creation over with this 8 family, with this 8 people. 3 brothers with their 3 wives. One in the ark was cursed by his father and became the servant to the other 2 brothers. The other one lived in the house of Shem, and from there populate the earth again. The earth was populated again, ladies and gentlemen. And then this one guy rose up, become the supreme ruler of the land. His name was Nimrod. And Nimrod led the nations of the earth, one language, one ruler, one government, in rebellion against the only true God, the one who's above all, Yahweh. And the rebellion was, the commandment was to go replenish the earth, subdue it. They're like, no, we ain't doing that, because we don't worship you. We're not worshiping you. We're not obeying you. We're going to do our own thing. So we're going to find this plane. We're going to make a tower up to heaven. We're coming to get you. And he led the whole world into rebellion of going to get Yahweh. So you want to build his tower up there so he can get to heaven, so he can dethrone the Elohim of creation. Can you imagine that? What an audacity. Well, he came down, Elohim came down, and he saw what they were doing, and he confounded their languages, and they speak all these multiple languages that you see on the planet today. The problem was they couldn't understand each other, so they couldn't continue in their rebellion as one people in one language. So they broke up into sectors based upon their languages. A man is separated by his language, by the words he speaks. You know a man by what comes out of his mouth, right? And so they went throughout the world, they scatter over the world in their rebellion. In their rebellion. They start making idols and build false gods, same gods that they worship, but they did it in their own language, in their own ways. That's why you see the God of Egypt is the God of the God of Egypt is the God of Greek. It's the same gods, different names because of different languages. All the gods of the nations are incorporated and is against the one true Elohim. They're all incorporated against Yahweh. And they took their rebellion and they went straight out. Now, the earth is corrupted again. What is the only true, the Father of all? What is he going to do? Well, he made a promise and a covenant, an everlasting covenant. A rainbow is what he gave us as a covenant, a sign. Come on now, ladies and gentlemen. Stay with me here now. For the very few of you who are chosen, man, is getting something that he gave us the rainbow as a sign of a promise he made to us. Now, you weren't in that ark. You weren't around for the flood. Or were you? You see, you were in the bosom of one of those sons that was in the ark. So yes, you were in the ark. And I'm gonna tell you why you were in there. Why you were in there, because you have seen a rainbow. And if you go back and see what he said about the rainbow, he said the rainbow is a sign of the covenant, an everlasting sign of the covenant between him and all living flesh. He didn't only make it with us, he'll make it with the animals. Any feature, flesh on the earth, he has made that covenant with. And he took the rainbow and he put it up in the sky and he says, when I see it. So the rainbow is a reminder to him that he made a promise to us. He made a promise to himself that he will never destroy the earth with flood again. There will never be another worldwide flood. But humanity has gone astray again. They have forsaken the one true Elohim. So what did he do? Again, ladies and gentlemen, he called one man. One man. He found favor in one man. And this man was our father, Abram. And he took Abram in his bosom and said, listen to me. The earth is corrupted and all men has gone their way. But if you obey me, I'm going to make a contract between me and you. You know what I learned from the ravenous bird, man, which I've never heard any pastor say. I mean, I think I heard some pastors say it, but they use it in such a way where they make it seems like they got this prosperity message. But the prosperity message, they're the one reaping all the prosperity. Their congregation are not. I've heard what's his name? What's his name? Oh man, what's his name? I can see his image in my head, but I can't remember his name. Let's go back to the ravenous bird until I remember this guy's name. Dr. Umar Johnson. I heard Dr. Umar Johnson said, and if you're not speaking to me about wealth or economic wealth, don't speak to me about God, he said. He said on an interview, if you're not speaking to me about economic wealth, don't speak to me about God. And you got to listen to that interview. It's powerful. But I heard the ravenous bird say that you can't serve in poverty. You cannot serve God in poverty. He did not meant for you to be poor. When he took the children of Yaosheral out of Egypt, he said, plunder the Egyptians. They never left poor. They left with all the gold and the silver. They plundered them. When you look at the wars that we fought, we plunder those cities. And we take all their gold. As a matter of fact, did he not say the treasures of the world is stored up for the righteous? The wicked, the treasures of the wicked is stored up for us. And I was like, wow. And I said, think about it for a minute. And if you really stop to think about it, shalom, shalom, shalom. If you really stop to think about it, it makes so much sense. If you look at the laws and how we're supposed to operate, we're not supposed to be poor. We're not supposed to be. Because even those who are wealthy, if you have a field, you're commanded to give the first fruit to the Most High, to the only true God. You're commanded to not harvest your field for a year, so everyone can come in and take some. You're commanded to give to the poor, to give. You are commanded that when you buy a land from your brothers, after 7 years, you got to restore that land to the brother, so that no one would be in need. No one would. This is what the disciples exercise. They exercise this when the so-called church just started after the ascension of the Messiah. They practice that. It's something that they practice every time, from time to time. Those who have would put it at the apostles' feet. They didn't go buy some jet. They didn't go buy some car. They disseminate it to everyone as they are needed. The scripture says there was no needy person among them. So if you were to look at, they understood that. So he called this man Abram, and he said, I'm gonna make a covenant with you, a contract. You don't enter into a relationship with the Most High for nothing. You're not a servant. You're not a slave then. You weren't meant to be a slave, ladies and gentlemen. Your slavery is because of your disobedience. So you are the one who perpetrates slave. Our forefather is the one who perpetrate that. But you see, the message has so lost throughout time that we're looking for reparation from the man. He can't give you no reparation, nor will he give you any reparation. And if you don't, all the things that happened in the past and the countries that were wrong in the past and the people that were wrong in the past, are they not getting reparation for the things that was done to them? Yet the greatest tragedy against humanity is slavery for the black man. Where's your reparation? You're not getting no reparation. You're not going to get it. They will not give it to you because you're still their slaves. So you can't get reparation. You can't get true freedom. You can't get economic wealth and economic power. What are you going to do? Look at the contribution. Look at the contribution that we contribute to building America and building the society and building. We built this, man. It's all built on slave labor. All the inventions that we couldn't patent because the law didn't favor us. All the inventions that the contribution that we make to society is stolen from us. The art, the music, everything. You make a song now and put it on Spotify and see so much money Spotify gets and how much money they give you. You don't understand. There's no freedom for you until you come back to Yahweh. Only Yahweh can free you and give you economic power and strength. And he promised that in the word. But you can't get this because you don't know who you are. You have no idea who you are. You have no idea. And you're looking for reparation. You continue to go work for the man. You don't realize that you will work till you're dead. And then your siblings and your generation, they're just going to work until they're dead. Because that's your lot. You're a cattle. Go out to work, produce milk. And when you can't produce no more milk, we use you as meat. That's just the way it is, ladies and gentlemen. That's just the way it is for black people all around the world, especially for those who can chase their lineage to the Atlantic slave trade. So I'm giving you these facts, ladies and gentlemen, so you can to identify who you are. That's why you need a ravenous bird who has restored the counsel of the Most High. That's why you need a ravenous bird. People don't understand this. So he called Abram, and he made a covenant with Abram. And he said, listen to what he said. This covenant is for you and your seed forever. It's not just Abraham the covenant was with. Because if the covenant was with Abram, guess what would have happened? When he died, that would have been the end of that. But the covenant passed down to the ages through his seed. Now, who are Abram's seed? Now, Abram was promised a son because he didn't have no children and his wife was barren. And he petitioned the Most High. He said, listen, you say my children will be like the sand of the seas, the stars in the heavens, but I'm barren. I don't got no kids. How is this going to happen? I don't have no children and my wife is barren. He said, trust me, you're going to have a son. All right. The Most High, the Father above, make the promise with our Father. But I guess he's taking too long, man. Because years are passing and they feel like they're up there in age and they passed the time of childbearing and they're just thinking all kind of things. And then the wife came up with this idea. Hey, I got a servant girl over here. I can't have a child. I can't give you that heir. So why don't you go to my servant girl and go impregnate my servant girl and then you'll get the heir through that. And Abram like, man, that's a great idea. Besides, that servant girl is hot. So let me go do my thing. See, it's not like us today, where you get your sperm and you put it in the bank and you get the egg and you can take your sperm, put it in the bank, and a woman can take an egg and put it in the bank, and you can take some sperm for some egg and put it in another woman and have a child. Oh yeah, it's been done and it's been done all the time. Well, they had surrogate mothers like that. The only thing is that the concubine or the servant girl would be that surrogate mom. And so, of course, Abraham have a child. He called the child Ishmael, right? And so now you catch now Ishmael coming. He's like he's happy. He can see his heir, his firstborn son. That's his firstborn son, and he's going off and he's happy about the whole thing, raising the child. And the father above waited 13 years. 13 years. When Ishmael was 13 years old, darn near running the place. the, the father above come down and says, "Hey, remember that promise I made with you that you're going to have a son? That is not him. That is not your son. I know he's your heir. I know you went ahead and go do your own thing. I know it's your heir, but that's not your son. Isaac is your son. Isaac is your firstborn. Isaac is your only son." Think about that. When it comes to the promise and the contract that I've made with you, it has nothing to do with Ishmael. But here's the thing. I'm going to bless him, though. I'm going to make 12 nations out of him. Why? Comes out of your seed. Comes out of your loins. That's your seed. So I'm going to bless him. But that's not where my promise is going to go. My promise is going to go to Isaac, who Sarah is going to have. And Sarah laughed. and Father Abraham laughed too. And that's why the name Isaac, which means laughter. Yashai Yao. Yahoo, laugh. You laugh at me, I laugh at you. Be careful. Careful how you laughing. You ever heard the saying, he who laugh last, laugh best? And so now here come Isaac. And because of this now, Abraham was put to another test. Another test. Not only that, Ishmael and Hagar, the mother, was sent away. Sent away. And if you read the story, you see the I think the name Ishmael means help from God or help from Yahweh or something like that. Not so certain. So don't quote me on that. But when they were sent away, they were in the desert and they were thirsty. And Hagar called up to the father, and the father just sent him a well and restore him and everything, right? Give him water. Well, they were sent away. So they're no longer in the picture. They're there, but they're not in the picture. They're not in the camp. So now when Isaac was born now, the Most High says, take him up to the place where and sacrifice him to me. We know now that our Father does not accept human sacrifice. I hope some people are listening to me. He doesn't accept human sacrifice. It was a test. So when he tested him and he passed it, he said, now I know you will give up anything for me. I'm going to bless you. And it's through Isaac, this one, who I'm going to carry out my will through Isaac. You're going to rest with your fathers. And boom, boom, and he rests. Abram died. Let's concentrate now on Isaac. Now, Isaac grew up, married, got this woman pregnant. She has twins. In the belly, there's 2 children, 2 boys. Before they were born, there was a prophecy from the Most High God what was going to happen. That there would be 2 kids in the belly, one Esau and one Jacob. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, Esau, Jacob. Esau came out first, which means he's the heir. But the prophecy from the Most High, from Yahweh is that Esau will serve Jacob. And of course, if you look through the whole timeline, you will see that Esau sold his birthright for some soup. Okay? Sold it, his birthright, for some soup. So now that we see this and we understand this, right? So now, fast forward. Jacob, I love. Esau, I hate. The line promise covenant is not with Esau. The line promise covenant is not with Ishmael. The line promise covenant is with Jacob. So the Yahweh is not talking to Esau, nor has he entered into any covenant with Esau. He's not talking to Ishmael, nor did he enter into any covenant with Ishmael. The covenant is with Abraham, Isaac, and now Jacob. That is why he says, I am, listen to this, I am the Elohim, I am the God of who? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You notice he excludes some people. As I tell you guys this, and you're not listening to me, you're not hearing me because you're still so religious. He's not the God of Ishmael. Come on now, speak to me, somebody. Put a yes in the comment section there, man. I want to know that you're hearing me. I want react with me. Talk to me. He's not the God of Ishmael. He's not the God of Esau. Though they are of the line and seed of Abraham, he entered into no covenant with Ishmael. He blessed Ishmael. He entered into no covenant with Esau. He blessed Esau, but he did not enter into a covenant with them. Come on, people. Talk to me, man. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Because if you don't understand these fundamental truths, then you're going to think the one true God, you're going to think he include everyone. He doesn't include everyone. Remember, I tell you, I'm going to go back to strangers because you must understand stranger. He's not an inclusive God. He's exclusive to Israel, Yahushua alone. I am the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Thank you for agreeing with me there. That's what he said. I am not telling you what I think or feel, because I'm not telling you what to think. I'm not telling you what to feel. I'm telling you what he said. That's all I'm doing. And any prophet that comes in his name, anyone who talks for him or he talks through, or anyone who claims to represent him must say what he says. That's how you know a prophet from a fake. Because the fake man is going to say, well, this is what I think he said. You never hear me say one day on this program, this is what I think it means. You never hear me say one day, oh, here's my interpretation. A prophet, a messenger of the gospel cannot have interpretations. Because I'm not speaking my own words. I'm not saying my own words. I'm only a vessel that's saying what he says. And that's why I said, this is what God said. This is what Yahweh said. Thus saith Yahweh. So you can get angry with me all you want. You can get pissed off at me all you want. I'm telling you what Yahweh said. And here's something I have learned. Hold on to Exodus 31 there. Isaac, actually, just go write it down. Psalms 89, verse 34 is such a powerful scripture. Okay, this is Yahweh speaking of himself. My covenant. Listen to what he says here. My covenant. What? Listen to my covenant will I not break. Now let me say it in a patois. Let me say it in my native tongue. Anything me say, me nah change what me say. Me nah broke me word. Me nah go back pa me word. Let me say it, that's it. I'm bound by it because I said it. I'm bound by what I say. Because I honor my word by my name. If you say above my name, it's written here, he honor his word above his name. No, he honor his word by on what he says. So what I say must come to pass. That's what he's saying. My word will not return to me void. Earth shall pass away, but earth shall not pass away. Why those words will never pass away? Because they're as eternal as the God himself. He is his word. He's what he say. What he says, what he means. Out will not change it. Ah, look at that. Whoops, connection again. He will not change the things that gone out of his lips. My wife brought me sea moss. Hey, man. Yo, man, my wife made me sea moss. They say it has 92 minerals. And I'm going to drink it now. You're going to watch me drink this. Watch this. Mm. Mm. Yes, honey. Mm. 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 Oh my gosh. Mm. Mm. I'm from Jamaica. My wife born here in America, but she grew up in Trinidad. We've never made sea moss. She made me punch a cream. She made me dragon punch. She made me all kind of something. We never make sea moss because I thought it was a rigorous thing that you have to go through to harness the sea moss and make it. So we ordered some sea moss. I think she bought it for her own personal use. And I'm like, it's just sitting there. So I said, you know what? I went on YouTube to figure out how to make sea moss. I realized it's so easy, so simple to make. Sea moss is so simple to make, man. You basically take it out of the container, put it in some water, you wash it, get the sand and the salt out of it, wash it a couple times, and get the sand out of it. Once you do that, you figure out how much sea moss you want to make, and you measure the sea moss to how much you want to make. You put the water in there, and you let it sit for about 6 to 8 hours, or you can make it, sit for 24 hours. And then after you sit it down, you boil it. Some people, you don't even have to boil it. You after when you make the sea moss soak, it swells up like that, like it's really swells up and stuff. So, and it becomes kind of like a jelly, kind of like a gel. And then you can actually just go blend it up and turn it into whatever, and then you strain it, or you can blend up really fine and just keep everything in it. That's what I did, but I didn't blend it up. What I did is I boiled it. I boiled the sea moss, and then I set it to cool because I wanted all the substance. I didn't want nothing waste. So I boiled it up and let it cool and put in the fridge. It become this nice gel, and then my wife do her thing. I can taste dragon. She put dragon in there. She put I can taste nutmeg. We said nutmeg. Condensed milk. I can taste that. Mm, 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 mm. No more buying no more sea moss. I'm gonna buy the seaweed, and I'm gonna make my own sea moss, man. Mm, 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 mm. 92 minerals plus some other things. All right. Thank you for that. All right, let's get back to business. So he Yahweh, our God, and you notice I'm saying our God because we know who he is now. We know who we are. Do you know who you are? Do you know that you're the children of Yahushua? Did you know that? You didn't know that? No way. You didn't know that you are the true seed of Abraham, the promise of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob today? You didn't know that? Oh my goodness. All right. How do I know? How do I know that we are? All right. If you can chase your lineage through the Atlantic slave trade, you are the children of the promise. How do I know that? I know that through the ravenous bird. I know that through the ravenous bird. Check this out. If you read Deuteronomy chapter 28, Deuteronomy chapter 28 is a blessing and a curse upon the children of Yahushua. If you go back to the covenant that the Father made with Abraham, our forefathers, he said something to him that is happening to us now. Your children, come on now, know for certain, your children, us, shall be in a land that is not their own. Where they're going to be? In a land that is not their own. I want you to pay attention. A land that's not their own. It couldn't be Egypt. Because when Joseph went into Egypt, the children of Yahushua live in Goshen. And they had become numerous in Goshen. They had a resident there. That wasn't the promised land given to them, but they had a resident there, which was their own resident in Goshen. So they had to be in a land that is not their own through slavery. Now listen to this. The children of Yahushua was not slaved in Egypt 400 years. They were enslaved 200 plus years in Egypt. There's only one place the children of Yahushua has been in slavery for 400 years and more. Watch this now. He said to Abraham, your children will be in a land not their own, and they'll be enslaved 400 years. After the 400 years, he's going to come and drive out the nation they serve as slaves. He also said something later on that the nation that we serve as slaves is also going to serve us double. The nations are going to, the people we serve as slave will serve us double. They will get a double portion. That has not happened nowhere in history, where the slave masters become the slaves. You show me in history where that has happened. You show me in history where any nation in history has been enslaved for 400 years. You can pinpoint only a people. Your children will be in a land not their own. They'll be enslaved 400 years. Watch this now. From 1400s, when slavery began, chattel slavery, and if you were to count the time where the first slave entered the United States of America, they would have entered the books or registry in the year 1619. 1619 to 219 is 400 years. But if you were to count from the first slave that entered the Caribbean in the 1500s, you will see that everything is bottlenecking up to the time of the explosion. The word of the Most High, the word of the only true God, only true God, is coming to pass. If you can chase your lineage through the Atlantic slave trade, you are the children of Yahushua. You are Israel. It is you. Because the curse of Deuteronomy 28, ladies and gentlemen, only points to the Atlantic slave trade. Only points to the Atlantic slave trade. every single part of the curse. So you got to read Deuteronomy 28, 15 through 68. And then ask yourself the question, which nation, or not even nation, but which people have suffered that curse to the T? And when I say to the T, I mean every aspect of the curse. There's only one people, and that's those who can chase their lineage through the Atlantic slave trade. You are the children of the curse. You are the children of the promise. You are the seed of Abraham, the one that the Most High promised to liberate. It is you. So if you don't understand this, then nothing will make sense to you. You're not called to be religious. You're not called to go to those darn church. You're called to be a nation. You're called to return back to Yahweh. Come to me. Come out of her, my people. We're called to go home. And that's why you need a ravenous bird. Go on YouTube and look up the ravenous bird. RAVENOUSBIRD. Ravenous bird. And then go look Brought by Ships. Go look at the 4-part series Brought by Ships. Understand who you are. The first thing I'd like you to do, though, I'd like you to look up the ravenous bird, RAVENOUSBIRD, and look up the name of the creator. The reason why I want you to start there, because you need to know who your God is. That's what you need to know first. And the first thing you need to know about your God is the name, his name. What is his name? And that will answer the question for you. Because some is calling him Yahuwah, Yahweh, Yahweh Shai, Yod He Vav, the 4 continents. Yod He Vav. That's not a name. How would you pronounce that? Yod He Vav. Good morning, Yod He Vav. Dear Yod He Vav. That's not a name. Okay? And from those 4 continents, they say it's YHWH. They put the actual vowels in there and say Yahweh. Yahweh is not our God. Yahweh is a demon God. Yahuwah is not our God. Yahweh is not our God. Jesus is not our God. Jehovah is not our God. Yahweh is not our God. Yeshua is not our God. Our God is Yahweh. And that's what you need to know. That's a difference. That's what makes us different. That's what separates us from any other people on the planet. He restored his name to us. And if you think his name is not important, he command you not to use it in vain. So when we call him God or Most High and these things, these attributes that we're calling, we're not pinpointing him. When Marsha was writing the Torah, Marsha never said on God. He never said that. That's a translated version. Marsha called his name. And how I know this, because in Exodus 3, he asked him, what is your name? And they put in there that he says his name is I Am. I Am is not his name. That's not our God. We don't worship I Am. That's not our God. I Am is not a name. I Am is a statement. It's a prefix to a statement. It's what comes after the I Am. That's important. I am a basketball player. I am Michael. I am Mikael. It's what comes after the I am. And if you the translation, the other translation is I'll be what I'll be. Tell them Yahweh sent you. But instead of his name, they put the Lord is my name forever. The Lord is not a name. Lord comes from the word, Lord comes from the word from the it's the worship of a pagan god named Baal. Okay? So when we use Lord, we're actually calling a pagan god. And if you understand the commandments is we are not even supposed to use the name of any god. We're commanded not to mention their names in our mouth. Did you know that? We're commanded not to do that. So the very scripture the very Bible that we're holding as the word of God is breaking the very laws of the Most High, the true God, Yahweh. Call him by his name. If you want to get my attention, you call me by my name, because there's no greater sound than the sound of my own name. There's no greater sound to your ears than the sound of your own name. No matter what condition you are, no matter what you're doing, when you hear the sound of your name, you will be attentive. Because there's power in the name. And I tell you right now, put that name to the test. Call upon that name and see if you're sincere in here and you truly want to know. Call upon that name and see what happened. Taste and see, man. Taste and see. Put it to the test. So, he did not make a covenant with Ishmael. He did not make a covenant with Esau. He made a covenant with Isaac. He made a covenant with Jacob. Now, the difference between Abram and Esau is that Abram and Esau have rejected sons. Jacob did not. All of Jacob's sons are part of the covenant. All of it. Why? He wrestled with the Most High. He wrestled with the angel. I'm not letting you go until you bless me. All night he held on to him. Not letting you go. Bless me. Change my future. Change my life. I'm not letting you go, because my name means deceiver. I don't want to be a deceiver anymore. Prince, why you keep coming here opening my door? I don't want to be a deceiver anymore. I want to be a man. I want to be a man that is adhere to your commands. Bless me. Put your spirit upon me so that I can obey your laws. And he held on. He wouldn't let go. And when his sun was rising, the angel said, all right, I have enough of this. Touch him in the side, dislocate his hip. And our father Jacob walked with a limp because his hip was dislocated. And that's how he let go of the angel. And that's how he was blessed. And his name was changed from Jacob to Ya'ushaal. And that has been his name ever since. You understand me? And that's the children of Ya'ushaal, how they end up into Egypt. It was because of the famine. And Joseph was sold into slavery because of jealousy from his brothers. And he was sold into slavery, but Yahweh was doing a thing where he was fulfilling his words. And and Joseph went in, and Joseph did his thing and become the second highest ruler, sent for his father and his family's house. 70 of them came up. And then the Most High, the Yahweh started to bless the children of Ya'ushael, and they become numerous. And then the Egyptians say, you know what, we're going to enslave these people. And then they enslave them and mistreat them. And then he sent Masha, raised Masha up from his people, and then sent Masha back in to free them, brought them to the Mount Sinai. It's not Sinai, it's actually Sinai. And then hold on to Exodus 30. We're gonna come back there. And then in verse we will see that when he brought them out of Egypt to Mount Sinai, the first thing he did was he tested them. That's the first thing he did. What he did, he test them on the commandments. He test them on the Sabbath. He tests them on the Sabbath. That's the first thing he do. And he tell them, he say, hey, I want you to keep my Sabbath. I want you to keep my Sabbath because it's a sign between me and you. And he fall bread from heaven. And he tells them that, okay, this is how he was going to test them. He tell them that the bread will come each day and you should pick it up just for the day and eat it for the day. You must not put up anything till tomorrow. And of course, they never obeys. He says, if you do this, it's gonna turn maggot. So, and it's gonna stink. So it turned maggot and it stinks. So that's what sin does, man. Sin turn you into maggot and it make you stink. And so he would punish them because of that. You punish them but he was training them. He said, no, on the sixth day, I want you to take up for 2 days. So he made them take it up for 2 days. And that was the first thing he did. He taught them to keep his Sabbath, because you see, the Sabbath is important. The Sabbath was going to be something they never understood what he was doing to them, but he was training them. And he says, I'm going to use it as a training to see if you will obey my laws or not. So after they gone through that whole process and they start doing it now, at one time Moses had to go there and beat some of them. They are picking up sticks and doing all these things, busted behind, right? Get in your house. Don't leave your house, right? Just to give them that training, because repetition gives training. And he trains them on my Sabbath. My Sabbath starts in the morning. My Sabbath starts in the morning at sunrise and it ends in the evening at sunset. And we were told the Sabbath starts 24 hours. No, it does not. The Sabbath starts Saturday, what we consider today as Saturday morning to Saturday morning to Saturday night. That's what it starts. Saturday sun up to sundown. It's not sundown to sundown. The only Sabbath that is celebrated sundown to sundown is the Passover, Day of Atonement. That Sabbath is celebrated 24 hours. Every other Sabbath, every other feast days are celebrated on different days. So it could come during the week. It could come on a Sabbath. It could come on a first day. It could come anytime through the week. Those other feast day Sabbath. But the weekly Sabbath, this weekly cycle Sabbath, comes only at sun up Saturday morning to sundown Saturday evening. That's a Sabbath. It's 12 hours. It's not 24 hours. You can find that out when you go look at Genesis 1. The light he called day, the darkness he called night, and the evening and the morning was the first day. You see? He never said, and the evening and the night was the first day. He never said, and the morning and the night was the first day. He never said, and the night and the morning was the first day. The evening and the morning. See, the evening is part of the same day. Because the light is called day. As long as it's light, it's day. As long as it's dark, it's morning. So night starts when the sun goes down. Morning starts when the sun comes up. But we were lied to. So then now he brought them. After this, now he's going to clean them up to meet him, because now he said, okay, I'm coming down on Mount Sinai in 3 days. I want you to sanctify yourself. Prepare yourself for me. I'm coming. Clean your clothes, wash your clothes, make yourself. Don't even go near your wives. Don't even have sex. I want you to just focus, because I'm coming down. I got something very important to tell you. After they did that, he came up here in verse 19. He says, in the third month, when the children of Yaosheral were gone forth out of the land of Egypt, the same day came they into the wilderness of Sinai. For they were depart from Rehoboam and Rephilim, if I said right. I could never pronounce that word right. Rephidim, whatever. And we're come to the desert of Sinai and had pitched in the wilderness, and there Yaosheral camped before the mount. And Moshe went up unto Yahweh and said, and Moshe went up unto Yahweh, and Yahweh called unto him out of the mountain, saying, Thus shalt thou say unto the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Yaosheral, the house of Jacob, the house of your daddy, and tell the house of Yaosheral. So he probably would have said, right? Never mind. let's continue. You seen what I have done to the Egyptians. So he's telling them now, you see what I did to the Egyptians, and how I bore you on eagle's wings and brought you unto myself. Now therefore, if you will obey my voice indeed and keep my covenant, then you shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people. For all the earth is mine, and you shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Yahushua. So now you see, he's making a covenant. He hasn't made the covenant there yet. He's making a covenant with them. And he says, if you will keep my covenant and obey my voice, then you shall be a peculiar people unto me above all people. So what he's doing, he's setting the children of Yahusha above all people. That's the blessing. The curse is he's setting the children of Yahusha beneath everyone else. That's why we're at the bottom of the totem pole. That's why we've been shit on, beat up. This is why you're down here. This is why you're down here. You understand me? Because of our disobedience. All right, now, so what he says, I'm making a covenant with you. Again, he's not making the covenant with Ishmael. He doesn't make the covenant with Esau. He's making the covenant with Yahushua. And then, of course, they gave us the command, the 10 Commandments, and the people were so afraid they didn't want to hear it. They didn't want to hear Yahweh speaks, and they asked that Yahweh did not speak. So going back now, and I will close here. Going back now, you have to now look at now the Sabbath now. We'll look at the Sabbath. Exodus 31 and 12. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, speak thou unto the children of Yahushua. So who is he talking to? You and I. Those who can chase their lineage through the Atlantic slave trade. Verily, my Sabbaths. You notice he said Sabbaths. Verily, my Sabbaths, which is more than one Sabbath. Verily, my Sabbaths, with an S, plural. Sabbaths, verily my Sabbaths you shall keep, for it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, that you may know that I am Yahweh that does sanctify you. So why did he want us to keep his Sabbaths? That we may know that he is our Elohim who set us apart. He set us apart unto himself. Watch this. And he says the Sabbath is a sign. What is a sign? His signature. He put his mark on us. That's what it means to mark your territory. You know, when I bought this property, when my wife and I bought this property, they gave me a title. The title was my mark of ownership to say I own this property, even though the bank owned the property. I own the deed, really. But what they do, it shows my territory, my whole mark. So I have a line around my property that, according to the deed, I am now in possession of. Yeah, I'm still in obligation or mortgage or debt to the bank. That mean, yeah, I may have the deed to the property, but I'm in debt. I'm owned by the bank. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what he did. He put his mark on us, his sign, his seal, that we may know who he is. Watch this. He goes on now in verse 14, Exodus 31:14. You shall keep the Sabbath, therefore, for it is holy unto you. Wait a minute. This time he says, you shall keep the Sabbath, for it is holy unto you. Up in verse 13, he says, you shall keep the Sabbaths, for it's a sign between me and you that I have sanctified you, right? But then in 14, he said, keep the Sabbath. So there are 7 Sabbaths. You see, you won't know these things because no one told you in your religion. There are 7 Sabbaths. 6 of the 7 Sabbaths are feast days, and they're kept on different time of the month throughout the year. But the 7th-day Sabbath is kept every week on the 7th day. Now listen to what he says here. Verse 14. You shall keep the Sabbath, therefore, for it is holy unto you. Everyone that defile it shall surely be put to death. What was the punishment for breaking the Sabbath? Death. Why? It is holy unto you. You notice he didn't say it is holy unto Ishmael. Notice he didn't say it was holy unto Esau. Notice he didn't say it was holy unto Egypt or the Canaanite or the Philistine. It wasn't holy unto them. No, it is holy unto you. Watch this now. He goes on to say, anyone who, what says it? Everyone that defile it shall be put to death. For whosoever does any work therein, that soul shall be cut off from among his people. So now, everyone who break the Sabbath must die. We break the Sabbath all the time. We're still alive. So is that it mean that Yahweh's word is not good? Why are we breaking the Sabbath now? We're not dead. Why are we not dead? If we are the children of Yahushua, why the hell are we not died? Why are we not dead? How comes nobody put us to death? You know why? You're in slavery. You're gonna die anyway. You're in slavery. We're not a nation. This law can't affect us this way in slavery. We're not a nation. Who puts the Sabbath breaker to death? It's the nation. They were supposed to gather up and be stoned. There's no temple. He's not there in our midst. So all of us is under judgment. So those whose eyes he open, he's calling us back to his laws. He's calling us back to our own government. We are not a nation. We don't have our own government. If you put me to death now for breaking the Sabbath of the Most High, you got charged for murder. We're not a nation yet. Someone said we have grace. No, darling. Grace doesn't stop you from death. Because even with grace, you're still dying. Everybody who has grace did not still die. So grace doesn't stop you from death. Grace doesn't cancel God's law, Yahweh's law. No. If people say it's grace that saves you, it's not grace that saves you. It's Yahweh that saves you. It's Yahweh who chooses to have grace on you. Isn't that what he says about Noah? And Yahweh found grace in Noah. It's Yahweh who is the grace. You understand? Because he chooses who lives and who dies. All right, Instagram, you're going to be shut down in 9 seconds. I'll go again, and I'm wrapping up. Seriously wrapping up right now. I want to get some more of this. Yeah. Now this is insane. Okay, let's do it one more time for the TikTok followers here. For the Instagram followers. Okay. All right. Part 3. Now, he's talking about grace. He's talking about Sabbats. And he's talking about this one that you will die for. You notice he never said you will die for the other Sabbats. That means the feast Sabbats if you break the feast Sabbats, you won't be, there's no death here. But when it comes to the 6-day Sabbath, there is an execution for that. And look, here's how we know that. Listen, go back to 31, Exodus 31:14. This is what it says here. You shall keep the Sabbath, therefore, for it is holy unto you. Everyone that defile it shall surely be put to death. For whosoever doeth any work wherein, that soul shall be cut off from among his people. 6 days. See, anytime you hear 6 days, he's talking about this weekly Sabbath. 6 days may work be done, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of rest. So which is the Sabbath day? The seventh day. Do not be mistaken. It's not Sunday or the first day of the week. It's not Monday or the second day of the week. It's not Tuesday or the third day of the week. Wednesday, the fourth day of the week, right? It's not Thursday, the fifth day of the week. It's not Friday, the sixth day of the week. It's Saturday, the seventh day of the week. It's Saturday morning. What we call Saturday morning, once that sunrise, it's the Sabbath day. Once the sun sets, the Sabbath is over. Make nobody fool you. That is the breaking of that time period that can put you to death. Watch this now. Look at what he says now here. Verse 16. Wherefore the children of Ya'osheral shall keep the Sabbath. What Sabbath? He never said shall keep the Sabbats. You notice he never said that? You got to pay attention in there. You got to look at what he says here. For the children of Ya'osheral shall keep the Sabbath. He's still speaking of the seventh day. What should we say? We'll say here. To observe the Sabbath throughout their generations for a everlasting covenant. A what? Whoa. An everlasting covenant. The Sabbath is a covenant all by itself. The Sabbath is within a covenant, which is the 10 commandments, or what we call today the Decalogue. But the Sabbath by itself is a covenant by itself. And when he says, the children of Ya'osheral shall keep it as an everlasting, perpetual, everlasting covenant. Watch this now. Watch this now. Verse 17. It is a sign between me and the children of Ya'osheral forever. Make no mistake here. Forever. For in 6 days Yahweh made heaven and earth, and on the seventh day he rests and was refreshed. And he gave unto Moses, when he had finished, made an end of communion with him upon Mount Sinai, 2 tablets of testimony, tablets of stone written with the finger of Yahweh. So while Moshe up on the mountain and the Most High is talking and writing the commandments, he emphasized the Sabbath one. He never emphasized the rest of the command. He emphasized the Sabbath command. He said, listen to me. The children of Israel must keep these Sabbaths. It's a sign between me and them. But you see, the seventh-day Sabbath, that is holy unto them. And anyone who do any work in that day must be put to death. He's serious when it comes to the Sabbath, man. That's his sign, his signature, his mark. He's serious. And I want to learn to keep the Sabbath the right way. Because up until now, I have not kept it the right way. I want to learn how to keep it and to observe it. To let the world know that I worship that God. That Allah am. Yahweh. You understand? So, ladies and gentlemen, the children of Ya'osheral is those who can chase their lineage through the Atlantic slave trade. And the question now is, what are you going to do? Where is your faith? Where is your faith? I looked up the word faith, and I looked up the word belief, and I look at the definition of what faith is. And the bottom line is this: faith comes down to action. Are you acting upon what you heard today? All right. So someone says here, are you Chan being to church lots only get to hear spiritual truth out of my whole life refreshing aside from the ravenous bird. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, faith is to act. That's what faith is. It's to hear, believe, and do. That's what faith is. That's what faith is, ladies and gentlemen. It's work. Faith is work. Someone wanted to tell you that faith is not work. They use these words interchangeably and put you in a cognitive dissonance and make you think if you work, that's you. If you work, you don't have faith, because if you work, it's your work. Faith is work. That's what faith is. That's why you see even the people who does not believe in Yahweh, does not obey his voice or anything. They're out there and they're working and they're saving and they're putting their mind to doing something. And guess what? They're blessed because of it. Because Yahweh doesn't show favoritism because somebody doesn't worship. Listen, he gave us the sun, and the sun shine on good and evil. The principles stay the same. So whether you believe or not, if you have the principles and if you're practicing the principles, the reward is in it, whether you're good or evil. Principles. Principles, ladies and gentlemen, are the keys to success. Because the principles is what gets you prepared for the opportunity that will lead to your success. If I have the guitar and I possess this guitar, it's mine, I own it. But if I just put it down in the room and I don't play it and I don't practice it, what good is the guitar? What good is having the knowledge of the guitar and don't play the guitar? What's good of having the knowledge of the word of the only true God, Allah aim, our Yahweh, and don't put it into practice? What good is it going to do you? Yeah, man. You have to put it into practice, man. You have to put it into practice. Let me see something. See if I could play you one of my songs that I wrote a long time ago. It's been so long since I sing. Let me see. Let me see. All right. All right. I don't remember anything to write. Oh yeah, man. I wrote some songs long time ago. I wrote a lot of songs, and but I was singing these songs in the name of Jesus, because I was a Christian. And when I come to learn the true name, that Jesus is not the name given to us by which we must be saved, I had to re up, because when I found out that the letter J was only invented sometime after the year 1524, it begs the question that Jesus could never be the name given, because before the year 1524, there was no letter J. So Jesus could never be the name given. So once I understand that, I'm like, my goodness, I'm going to have to write some new songs or change some words, because I want to sing in the name that was given. And the name that was given was Yahushua. So this song that I wrote, I started with Jesus is the light of the world. He came to the darkness. He came to make it whole, the narrow gate to save, the everlasting door, eternity to grasp, your love forevermore, right? So these are some of the things that I wrote back in the days, man. And Now, I have to this thing because I wanted the truth to our people. And one thing I realized is that the Father raised up his people, and he raised up people from his people to send to his people. Yahushua, the one we mistakenly call Jesus, was raised up from among the people. He is, and he's the one that's going to sit on the throne. So he always, chose a people from his people to send to his people. So I don't believe anyone. I don't want to hear anyone that doesn't come out of his people. Oh, I didn't talk to you about the stranger. I didn't talk to you about the stranger, and I said I wanted to finish up now, but this I can't leave you. I can't leave you in the dark, because if you can't chase your lineage through the Atlantic slave trade, then you might be thinking, is there any hope for you? Is there any hope for you? Yes, there's hope for you. There's hope for you. Here's the hope. The hope is, you got to understand what stranger is, or Gentile is. And so when you look at Samuel, I think it's Samuel. Samuel, I believe it is. Is it First Samuel? First Samuel, First Second Kings. Yeah, let me see. Yeah, so we need the Samuel 8. Samuel first. Let me see. Let me make sure here. I could never find the scripture here. First Samuel. When Solomon built the temple, when Solomon built the temple of Yahweh, and he was dedicating the temple, he spoke of the strangers. He spoke of the strangers, and he said, it's not Samuel, it's Kings. He spoke of the strangers, and he talked about, if the stranger who have heard about Yahweh pray towards the temple, that Yahweh was to hear from heaven and heal them. All right. And let's see here if I could find this. Yep. Here we go. Okay. Here we go. Let's go to verse 39. So, what about the strangers? What about those strangers and Gentiles who are not of the promised seed of Yahushua? What's going to happen to them? Watch this now. 1 Kings 8. Remember now, in Exodus 20, 8-11, he says, nor the strangers within thy gates. So he was talking about the strangers that's within thy gates who must keep the Sabbath. So if a stranger, if someone who coming to my home, staying in my home for the weekend, they must obey the Sabbath laws in my house. They must obey that. So who are those strangers? Watch this now. to make you understand that a stranger is those who are not of the people of Yahweh. Let's read 1 Kings 8, 30, 39. That's 39. Let's watch this. Then hear thou in heaven thy dwelling place, and forgive, and do, and give to every man according to his ways, whose heart and knowledge, whose heart thou knoweth, for thou, even thou only, knoweth the hearts of all the children of men. So this include everyone. This prayer right here, 1 Kings 8:39, Samuel is dedicating the temple. He's including everyone. So let's read it again. He says here in verse 39, he says, then hear thou in heaven thy dwelling place, and forgive, and do, and give to every man according to his ways, whose heart thou knowest. For thou, even thou only, knowest the hearts of all the children of men. Okay? Verse 40. Then they may fear thee all the days that they live in the land which thou hast given unto our father. Moreover, watch this now, concerning a stranger that is not of thy people Israel. They're not of the people of Yahushua, but come out of a far country for thy name's sake. What these people do? Come out. Ladies and gentlemen, people don't understand come out of her. They don't understand this. Come out of her from a far country. Let me read it again. Verse 41. 1 Kings 8:41. Moreover, concerning a stranger that is not of thy people Yahushua, but come out of a far country for thy name. Why they came out? They heard about Yahweh, the God of Yahushua. Watch this. For they shall hear of thy great name, and of thy strong hand, and of thy stretched out arms, when he shall come and pray towards this house. Watch this. Hear thou in heaven thy dwelling place, and do according to all that the stranger call to thee for, that all men of the earth may know thy name, to fear thee, as do thy people Yahushua, and that they may know that this house which I have built is called by thy name. You see that, ladies and gentlemen? You see that? When a stranger hear about our God and come out of their foolish religion and their foolish churches and their foolish government and stream to the place because of his name. He said, Solomon said, when they pray to you, hear them. You know why they hear? They believe. You know why Yahweh hears? Because the people believe, because he knows their hearts. Because you have Gentiles who believe, and Gentiles and strangers who know the voice of Yahweh. And instinctively, they're doing that which Yahweh command, instinctively. Showing that it was written on their hearts. Watch this now, watch this. And come out. Strangers. The point I want to make here is that a stranger is not of thy people. They're not of thy people. That means they're black, white, Chinese, Mexican, you name it. They're not of thy people, because his people are specific. Not all black people are Yahushua. I want to make that point abundantly clear here. Not because you're black. The Egyptians were black. The Canaanites were black people. In Egypt, it was black people that enslaved black people. All the movies show you that it was white people enslaving white people. No, it was black people enslaving black people. Egypt was black. Egypt is black. And the children of Yahushua is black. And when you look at Egyptians black and you look at Yahushua, though we're black, you can see the difference. There's a difference in the way we shape, where our head shape, how we talk. There's a difference. We have a different dialect. All right? So not all black people are Yahushua. And not because you live in certain places that mean you're Yahushua either. You are Yahushua if you can chase your lineage through the Atlantic slave trade. That means if your ancestors dodge the Atlantic slave trade, you are not the bloodline of Yahushua. Now that's hard to accept. Mm. Refreshing to the last drop. All right. So we see there, strangers, not of thy people. Yashayahu. I close here. Isaiah 56. Dealing with the stranger. Isaiah 56. And of verse 1. Thus saith Yahweh. Who's speaking? Very important for you to understand who I do the talking, yes, sir. And me, I say it. I don't say anything here. Nothing I say today came from me. Thus saith Yahweh, keep you judgment and do justice for my what? Salvation. My Yahoshai, my Hoshai is near to come, and my righteousness to be revealed. Blessed is the man. Who? The man. Not Yahoshai, the man. Any person, any nation, any people. Blessed is the man that doeth this, the son of man that lay hold on it, that keep the Sabbath from polluting it. Notice he never said Sabbats with an S. He said Sabbath single, which is the 7-day Sabbath. Watch this. From polluting it, and keep his hands from doing any evil. Neither let the son of a stranger. Who is the son of a stranger? Those who are not of thy people, Yahoshua. Listen to this. That has joined themselves to Yahweh, speaking, saying, Yahweh has utterly separated me from his people. This is very important. Let the scriptures do the talking here. The stranger, the son of a stranger, saying to himself, Yahweh has separated me from his people. He's speaking to those people who is saying to themselves, Yahweh has separated me from people. But listen to what he said first. Listen to what he says here. Neither let the son of a stranger that has joined himself to Yahweh. Those who had come out of her and joined themselves to Yahweh. What about the son of a stranger that has not done that? That has not joined himself? What about the son of a stranger that has not heard of his great name and pray towards this place? He's not talking to them. They're left behind. What about Yahoshua, the children of Yahoshua, who are not doing these things? They are also left behind. So if you think he's not going to leave behind because you came out of the Atlantic slave trade and you can chase your lineage through the Atlantic slave trade, you think you have a free pass? You think because you're the bloodline and you find out like your bloodline, and I see these Israelites say out there, they're preaching that they're preaching like they possess salvation because they know who they are and they have, oh, we're the true people, and the white man this and the white man that and the white man that. They don't have a clue. They don't have a clue. Because if those white men join themselves and pray, they're going to be heard. And those people will see those white people, those loving white people, accepted, and they get rejected. And they can't understand, why are we rejected? Because you have no love in your heart. You have no love in your heart. Because love is the motivation of keeping the Yahweh's law. Love is the subtotal of the law. When you see the hungry, feed them. All right? When you see the naked, clothe them. Love is what's going to move that. Watch this. Watch this now. Verse 6. Verse 6 of Isaiah 56. Verse 6. Also to the son of a stranger, that joined themselves to Yahweh. So they made a decision. I'm following the God of Israel. Yahoshua. Watch this. Also to the son of a stranger that has joined himself to Yahweh, to serve him. To do what? To serve him. So to join him means to serve him, to do what he commands. Watch this. And to love the name of Yahweh, to love his name, to understand and know it. Watch this. To be his servant. Watch this. Everyone. He ain't leaving nobody out here in this aspect. Everyone that keepeth the Sabbath from polluting it and take hold of covenant. Watch this. Verse 7, will I bring the holy mountain? Hold on. Did he say, even them I'm going to bring, I'm going to have a new mountain? Even them I'm going to start a new church, a new way. I'm going to keep them in the land of their slavery. I'm going to bring this, ladies and gentlemen, is that give up what you have. That's the problem with you. So you're going to get left behind because you're holding on to junk. You're holding on to your religion. You're holding on to your way of life and your mindset. You got to let that go. You got to give up everything you have. Some of you going to get left behind because you can't give up that job that you wanted so much. Some of you going to get left behind because you can't give up that wife who wants nothing to do with your belief system. That husband who wants nothing to do with your belief system. And you can't say, hey, man, Yahweh is worth more to me than life itself. If you're ready, I'm over here. Some of you can't. You're not even bound in such case. You know that if you leave your husband or you leave your wife in the sake of going to Yahweh, you're not bound to that marriage. But anyway, whatever. Watch this now. Even them will I bring to my holy mountain and make them joyful in my house of prayer. Their burnt offering and their sacrifice shall be accepted upon my altar. For my house shall be called a house of prayer for all people. Watch this now. Yahweh our Elohim, which gathered the outcasts of Yahushael, yet will I gather others to him beside those that are scattered unto him. So as the Most High is gathering his children unto himself, some of those children are going to marry outside of their bloodline. Some of these children marries white women, they marries Chinese women and different type of women, are different type of men, and they choose to come. Yahweh's going to take them. Some of these people are not married to the bloodline. He's going to bring them too. I will gather the outcasts of Yahushael, yet will I gather others to him. To who? To him, to us. Christianity has spoiled you, man. Christianity has fleeced you. Your religion has kept you in the dark all these years. But he come that the Mashiach come that you can have life. And he was sent to who was the Messiah sent to? The children of Yahushael. He wasn't sent to the world. Many of you think that he died for the sins of the world. He did not. How could he die for the sins of the world if he was sent to a peculiar people? Come on, ladies and gentlemen. You got to think. He didn't die for no sins of the world. Because if he died for the sins of the world, then there's no way the Father could hold me guilty for sin. Because all I have to do is go claim it. I have to just, hey, Jesus died for me. I got grace. I can continue to do whatever I want because he paid the price for me. If someone gives you an unlimited credit card, and said, this is for you, can they blame you if you run up $1 million on it? They can't blame you. How can they blame you? How can they say to you, man, I gave you this unlimited credit card, man, you spend too much money. Bro, you never gave me no rules. You didn't tell me I can only spend this amount, I can only spend that amount. You gave me an unlimited credit card and you said this is for you. Now you might say to me, well, you should have used discretion. Why? If you wanted discretion, you should have gave me discretion. But since you never gave me discretion, you gave me the card and you say, use it. This is for you and it's unlimited. I want to buy and do whatever I want with it. Now, how can you hold me guilty for that? Yeah, you can get mad, but you got to be mad at yourself. Don't ever invite me out and say, take what you want. Don't do that to me because you might regret it. Don't ever ask me what can I do for you unless you're prepared to do something for me. Because I'm not only thinking about myself. I never just think about myself. I think about my wife, my kids, their grandchildren. I'm thinking way down the line. So if you're in a position, I don't know what position you're in. I don't know what you can do. Maybe you just won the lottery and you want to bless me. What if I just say, buy me a car? Then guess what? My blessings stop at the car. But what I say, man, I want a house. I want a couple cars. Man, I think my daughter's struggling. She could use some help financially. This is struggling. My son is struggling. I said, oh man, my cousin, I remember him. I'm thinking like that because I'm not thinking for myself. And what if you're in a position to say, yo, Mike, I'll give you $1,000. I'll give you $1,000,000. Yeah, man, that will cover everything. But don't ask me if I'm good. Don't ask me are you good? If you ask me if I'm good, I might say, yeah, I'm good. But I say, bro, I could use more, but I'm happy with what you give me, but I could use more because I'm not limiting myself. That's what I'm trying to say to you. So if Jesus died on the cross for you, then guess what? You're free of all the guilt and free of all the debt. He did not die on the cross for you. And now we were taught that way. We were given that in the New Testament. But you know that there's no prophecy in this Old Testament that says the Messiah will die for us that I know of. Like, anyway, he died for his people. Anyway, I'm not going to go through that because it'll take me a whole lot to just show you some stuff. But anyway, it's up to you, man. It's up to you to believe what you want to believe. It's really up to you. I'm heading out of here right now, and I give thanks for this. Someone wants to come in, but I can't let you in right now because I'm tired. I've been on this thing here now almost 3 hours. I'm tired. I'm going to go grab some more CMOS and spend some time with my wife. And besides, I got to do some studying. So anyway, I love you guys. And again, I don't have no set time when I come on here. So just make sure that your little bell and your indicator is on to see when I come so you can join me. All right. Yahweh bless you. And until next time, peace out. Peace out. Peace out. Peace out.